Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. It is officially pumpkin season everywhere, and that means I have one amazing pumpkin dessert recipe. I'll be making my caramel pecan pumpkin cake, and this is like the ultimate pumpkin dessert. I'm going to start with moist and delicious pumpkin spiced cake layers, and we're going to fill those layers with a homemade caramel sauce, chopped pecans, frost the whole thing with the salted caramel frosting, and let me tell you, every single bite of this cake is just phenomenal. Now I have a separate video recipe for the homemade caramel sauce and the salted buttercream, so make sure to check those out. Meanwhile, let's get started on this pumpkin cake. So into a large mixing bowl, I'm going to add in 3/4 cup of canola oil. You can also use vegetable, 4 large eggs, 1 cup of white granulated sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to grab my whisk and whisk this all together for a couple minutes until I have a smooth mixture. Next, it's time to add the pumpkin puree. I have 15 ounces of unsweetened, unspiced pumpkin puree. Just drop that right in and whisk that in as well. Moving on to the dry ingredients, I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, I'll add in 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix this in all together, and then I'm going to sift the dry ingredients into the batter. And then mix this all together just until the dry ingredients are incorporated. You don't want to overmix your cake batter. I've lined 3 8-inch cake pans with parchment paper, and I sprayed down the sides with a baking spray. And now I'm going to divide the batter evenly between the 3 pans. And then take an offset spatula and spread that batter evenly to the edges so you have nice and even cake layers. And my pumpkin spiced cake layers are ready to go into my oven. I have mine set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. They're going to bake for about 27-28 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Once they're done, I'm just going to let them cool completely on a wire rack. And now is a great time to make the caramel sauce and the salted caramel frosting. I'm going to leave those links down in the video description box below. My pumpkin layers have cooled completely, and I have my salted caramel buttercream ready. So first I'm going to spread a nice generous amount over each layer. And to keep the caramel and pecan filling on the inside, I've transferred some of that frosting into a pastry bag, and I'm going to pipe a little barrier around the edge of the cake. And pour in about 3 tablespoons of caramel. And this caramel sauce is so good, and it's super easy to make. You'll never want to use a bottled kind of caramel sauce from the store ever again. And sprinkle in a handful of pecans. And now it's time to garnish this cake. I transferred it onto another cake stand. Let it sit in the refrigerator for about an hour before transferring it. And then I love this naked cake look I did with this one. It looks really rustic and perfect for fall. I'm using a Teco tip number 847. I'm going to add some beautiful dollops on top. And into the center, I'm going to add some chopped pecans. And now let's cut into this cake so we can take a peek at what it looks like on the inside. This looks almost too pretty to cut, almost. All right, that moment of truth. Let's take a peek. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love that you can actually see that caramel and the pecans on the inside. This is going to be amazing. All right, seriously guys, how gorgeous is this cake? I absolutely love what it looks like on the inside and the outside, of course. Time to dig in and enjoy. Just love the layers of the caramel on the inside with the pumpkin. It's going to taste fantastic. This cake is all about the fall flavors and it tastes absolutely incredible. I love that moist, delicious pumpkin cake layer. It is so good, complemented with that salted caramel frosting. We have the caramel on the inside with the pecans, and so every single bite you have this creamy frosting with the cake, and then you have a little bit of crunchiness from the pecans. So good. If you're looking for the ultimate pumpkin cake this season, this is the one. Just head on down into that video description box. I'll have the full recipe up on my blog. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. And I'm just gonna keep